Hey everybody, Randy with Rashley's Border Q. That's some good looking thin sliced meat there. Today we're going to be working on some beef jerky. Let me get everything organized here, get our spices ready to go, and we'll get this meat in a marinade, get it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow we'll throw it on the Yoder YS640. Y'all stay tuned. I had the butcher cut up some meat for me, real thin strips. One of the things you want to get rid of when you're doing beef jerky is excess fat. So we're just going to take this vein of fat out of the middle here. Matter of fact, this may be a little too thin, but we're going to go ahead and make some jerky out of it anyway. That's good right there. And then go ahead and cut it into smaller pieces, jerky size pieces. All right, good enough. Let me go ahead and get all the fat trimmed out of this, get it sliced up, and we'll get our marinade put together and get it in the refrigerator. I'm using a real basic recipe for beef jerky. I've got about 4 pounds of meat. So this recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of meat, so we're going to have to triple the recipe more or less. It calls for 1/4 cup of soy sauce, so we're going to do about 3/4 cup. Calls for 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Just about right. Teaspoon of onion powder. Not onion salt. That soy sauce is already salty, so we don't want to put too much salt in it. So we're going to use onion powder and garlic powder. Garlic powder calls for 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to throw in about 1/2 tablespoon. Calls for 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper also. This is another place I'm going to modify a recipe because of my wife. She doesn't like it too hot, so we're not going to do any extra black pepper in there. So the last ingredient we're going to add is some teriyaki. My wife loves teriyaki beef jerky. I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of teriyaki in there. We'll want to stir it till all the solids dissolve in the liquid, so it'll take a bit. We'll be right back. All right, let me clean up a little bit, and we'll get the meat and the marinade into probably some gallon bags and get it ready to sit in the fridge overnight. One of the tricks to use here is to turn the bag inside out at the very top to keep meat juices and tidbits from getting stuck in the seal. Yeah, maybe. Now we're going to push it around until the marinade comes right up to the opening that I left in the seal. Go ahead and seal that up, and we're going to go get it in the refrigerator. I'll turn it every few hours, kind of get that marinade worked in around the meat, all in and through. Lay the bag in a pan so that if there are any leaks, it doesn't get all over the refrigerator, hopefully. All right, I'm gonna go put it in the fridge, and we'll be back tomorrow afternoon to go put this on the Yoder YS640. We're gonna run some mesquite wood on it, mesquite pellets rather, at about 160 degrees, however many hours it takes to get it dried out. It's very thin, so I don't think it's gonna take a long time. We'll see y'all in the morning. We're back on the patio with the Yoder. Today we're going to put that beef jerky that we marinated last night. Actually, it marinated last night and most of the day today. Hopefully it didn't get too salty with that soy sauce. Anyway, we're going to put it on the Yoder YS640, set it on about 160 and let it smoke. We're not going to dry this real dry because we're not going to store it for a long time. If you're going to store it for a long time, you want to get it pretty dry. We're going to leave this just a tiny touch soft so it's easier to chew because it'll be gone in less than a week. Let's get started. Just a little bit of space in between each piece so the smoke and air can circulate around it. We'll load up the bottom and then I'll load the top and slide it in. If your meat for beef jerky is thicker than this, you might want to go ahead and dry it off with some paper towels a little more than what I did this. I'll go ahead and load this top rack and I'll bring you back when we're putting it in. All right, got the top rack loaded. Got the bottom rack loaded. Let's get the top rack slid in place. That's it, a nice pit full of beef jerky. I'm just going to leave it alone, let it do its thing for a while, and we'll come back out here in a few hours and check on it. As thin as that jerky is, I want to check it in a couple hours and just go from there. The jerky on bottom is considerably darker than the jerky on top. It went on first, and of course it's closer to the radiant heat. One of the signs jerky is ready is when it's not flexible anymore. Stands out like a crisp piece of bacon, which that does. Go ahead and pull up some of that. You want to dry it down a little more if you're going to store it long term. Looks almost like bacon. All right, there's a piece of that jerky. Very good. Very good. I was scared it was going to be too salty with the soy sauce and the teriyaki and all on it, but no dice, it's good. All right, we're going to wrap this video here. I moved all of the beef jerky that was on that top shelf down to the bottom, try to speed it along a little bit. The reason for the wrap is there's some rain coming in, and if it's blowing rain, I need to get all this camera equipment off the patio and into the house. So you've seen the basics. About half of it's already picked up. We taste tested it. We're going to leave the rest and let it finish up real quick. On the bottom shelf, it'll expedite it. So we thank y'all for tuning in. That's good beef jerky. I'll put the recipe in the description box down below. Very, very simple recipe. It's got a minimal number of ingredients. It's not like some of the beef jerkies that you see that have a list of 30 ingredients. This one's 5 or 6. Very simple, very easy. So We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We ask you to click like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see y'all later on down the road here at Rashley's Barbecue. Adios, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Click like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see y'all later on down the road.